This is your course instructor Varda Rizvi, and I am teaching you today presentation skills. Last time few topics were left, so I'll start with presentation skill and then I'll move on the rest of the topics that we have to cover, and then we'll do a quick revision together. So if you have any difficulty, you can ask me in comments. If my voice is less clear or I'm less audible, you can ask me as well. If you want me to clear any topic that you believe you want better understanding about it, so you can also share in comments. Let's start presentation skills, but before it I want you to tell me what is your idea of presentation and why presentation skill is necessary, or why it is important and why we have to learn it. I mean, why we are in dire need to learn presentation skills when we are good enough to present anything. So answer me in comments, right? I believe presentation for anything presentation is very important. For example, if even you cook something and if you don't present it in a better way, I mean, if you are serving someone um, with unclean utensils, or your plate or your bowl, whatever in which you served your dish is not clean or is not presented well, or well, or even your the gravy of your dish is coming out, so, and it's dirty, do you think the person will taste, even though the dish that you have cooked is very tasty, but because it isn't looking good, no one will taste it, even people try not to eat it or taste it. So presentation is important. Similarly, presentation is important in presenting your ideas, because you are presenting something that you believe is important and others need to know about it. So whatever your intentions are to present your topic, you need to pay much attention on it. You need to follow the procedure, or meet all the components of presentation, so that you can present in a well manners. So when you are presenting it in such a good way and in such a organized way, you need some skills as well. So it will be then better and amazing. I mean, you can engage your audience as well. So let's start without talking much. I am starting presentation skill. So first you have three questions. Use adjectives in your mind. But what is bad presentation, what is good presentation, and what is the best outstanding presentation that you are very much impressed by the presentation of your fellows. So when I am teaching you presentation skill, I want you to keep in mind two things. One, you have experienced of presentation, your experience of being audience and experience of being presenter. So keep all the experiences in mind and relate it to your one, right? So when you are an audience, how do you think and who do you think is a bad presenter and a good presenter and a best presenter, right? So what are the qualities that you are looking in a person and you believe the person is a good presenter, or the bad points that you believe this presentation is not very much good and the person needs more improvement. So let's start learning the skills. In order to be a good presenter, in order to learn good skills, you need to focus on 4 P's. I have presented 4 P's. You can also add 5, 6, 7, so many P's in your presentation skill, right? First, these are the basic one actually: plan, prepare, practice, and present. I mean, present your topic. First of all, you need to do planning, what you are going to do. Then you need to do preparation, how you will present it, what will you choose to present, and you need to do practice, in which manner you have to present it, and who you will present, who is your audience. So these 4 points are important. I'll explain them later in respective slides, but here I am giving you just the general overview. So if you want to add another p, 5p, you want to make it, you can have precise p, that your presentation shouldn't be too long or shouldn't be too short. I mean, you just start and it ends. So, and you just start and then you go on and on and on, and everyone is yawning, they are sleeping. So don't make it too long. So, so, in presentation skills, what you usually face? People have fear of facing audience. They feel nervous. They are not much confident when they confront a lot of people, a crowd. So it happens usually. Even we teachers do the same when it is the first day of teaching a new class, or even the old one. We feel, at least I feel bit nervous because I don't know where to start, and I don't know my audience very well. So these are the things, but it's just a matter of 2 to 3 seconds, and then you overcome it, and then I'll tell you how to overcome it as well. So the people face a lot of crowd, and they feel nervousness. Their fear of speaking in front of other, their body is shivering, their voice is just changing, and they can't even speak louder. So it's a natural if it happens to you or to anyone. So it is natural, but you need to overcome it. This is the point. This is the point to learn this skill. And when you are nervous, you feel anxiety, you feel tension, and if you can't overcome it, you'll ruin your presentation. So you have to overcome it, and this is what I am teaching you here in these skills. And then you need to learn how to be a good presenter by doing practice. So this is the common belief: practice makes a man perfect. Now if someone of you are a feminist, don't ask me why men, why not men. Because we use men for everyone, for women and for men. So don't be that much feminist. It was just a part of joke. So let's move. So in planning, we need to focus 3 steps. First is the purpose, second is the audience, and third one is the structure. Let me teach you one by one all. So in planning, the WH words you need to keep in mind is who, what, when, where, how, and why. I mean, who is your audience that you are going to present, what your audience want to hear, why do they listen to you, what is the interest that you have maintained throughout your presentation, where you have presented, which platform you have selected for yourself to present, and when you should present. So these WH questions are very much important, and the nail is why. Why your audience is bothered to listen to you through, if your presentation is 15 minutes, unless it is a class presentation and your teacher make it compulsory for all of you to listen to your fellows. And it is also a reason that you listen to them, because it is compulsory by your teacher, and you are given points for it. So you see, there must be an element in your presentation that engage your audience. So I'll start with who. First of all, you need to know who is your audience, to who you are teaching, or to whom you are presenting your presentation. For example, if your presentation is critical thinking in as a classwork, and if you are presenting the topic in a class of students, a student of 5th to 6th grade, do you think they will show interest? Of course not. It's not their area of interest. You have to teach them what is their area, I mean, in which they are interesting. So in which they take interest, you need to focus on those points. Similarly, what you are presenting, I mean the topic, so the same example will apply will be applied here, that if the topic is critical thinking and the audience is 5th through 6th grade students, so do you think they will enjoy or they'll understand? Even of course not, they won't, because it is not their area of interest. Until unless you engage them by using eye catching word. For example, you can tell them, do you want to learn critical thinking to be a good writer, story writer, or do you want to learn critical thinking to get good grades? And then if they, of course, then they'll say yes, and then you have to make your content as much easier as possible, because they won't understand the tough words you use. So you need to be very much conscious about selecting content, and then where and how you will present, or where you have to choose a platform. Like in COVID-19, in this situation, in lockdown, you can choose the you can choose online platform, a virtual presentation through PowerPoint, through videos. Like I have selected this video tool for you people to deliver my lecture in lecture comma presentation. So this is how you have to use, and the method I have selected is through PowerPoint and recording audio. I can also make it video. I can also share only recording, or I can also share only text. So there are a lot of methods of online presentation. But if in your actual classroom, in your physical classroom, where you can choose a number of methods, like you can go for whiteboard, multimedia, PowerPoint, or charts through pictures. I mean a lot of methods you can use to present your topic. When you will present, this is again an important question. For example, I am teaching you presentation skills. If I teach you this presentation skill when you are done with the exam, do you really take interest in my lecture? Of course not. You won't. Even if few of you won't take less interest in this lecture, unless I tell them after a week you will have exam, and you won't believe, all of you were enthusiastically learning here. Why? Because I motivated you, or I applied a psychology on all of you to make you engage in this presentation. So when is very much important. Now, why do we listen to a presenter? Of course, if presenter uses our area of interest. Why I am always talking about the area of interest? Because this is the motivation. You must have been learning motivational psychology or motivation in psychology in your psychology course, where you use a reward, both intrinsic or extrinsic types, to get desired results. So why why as a presenter has to keep the thing in his mind that why his audience listen to him. His audience will only listen to him when he will give them some reward, some motivation. For example, listen 10 points of presentation skill and get good marks in exam. So the 10 point is very much attractive. If I say listen my 100 points and get good marks in exam, so 100 points, you will say, if listening 100 points, it is better to go and search and find 10 points. So this is also a marketing and the strategies you have to apply. So this is how you need to engage your audience, that tell your audience that it is their dire need, they will die if they won't listen to you. So try to use the catchy words, like you can say, without presentation skills you won't survive. It is necessary for you to learn. So yes, this is the thing. If you want to get good marks, you need to learn. Okay, and then you say, why in English? Why we are why in dire need? I'll say in Urdu, why भाई मुझे क्यों मौत पड़ी है कि मैं अंग्रेज़ी सीखूं. So these are the words that you usually use. Now you see how much this era has become a global village. We all are virtually connected. Whenever I think about this, an image just pops in my mind, like Facebook. Facebook has connected people through dots, dots, dots. If you open the browser version of Facebook, on the left side you'll see a picture with a lot of faces, and they all are virtually connected. In COVID-19 we all are virtually connected, you see. And we are and in order to connect with technology, you need to learn English. So English is very much important. Okay, so here are the things that I have mentioned earlier. Who is your audience? Why do you want to present, or the content material that you choose, or the purpose or the place? Everything is see clear. Okay, and then to maintain the interest of your audience and to engage them, tell them that they need to learn it. Okay, don't mind the background noise. I tried to hibernate myself in order to record this lecture, but I couldn't. So this is the situation of lockdown in at least my block, where people are roaming around like hell. They are just doing what they want to. So let's come back to our presentation skills plan. In the second point is structure. You need to organize your content, because if your content isn't in a flow, no one will enjoy it. For example, if you start telling them about critical thinking, and instead of telling them what is critical thinking, you start with the middle point somewhere, and no one will understand, because first you have to tell them what is critical thinking, then tell them why it is necessary, and then how it works. So you can't start with how it works, or as you so this is how you need to organize your work, and structure. And then keep objective clear. Do tell in each and every point of your presentation, do tell your audience that it is very much important to learn it. The topic that I am presenting is such an important topic that without it you won't get past. So use the strategy, use the persuasive language. And when you are structuring your material, your content must make an outline, so that your audience will enjoy it. They don't be confused, or they don't ask question, or they don't get bored as well. So the content you choose must be simple. I mean, if you are teaching, or you are presenting your topic in the class of 10th standard, and you are using the language that is very much complex for them, you are using language for the master students, language of master students, so they get confused. They don't understand at all, and they'll tease you by asking so many questions. So try to make simple, precise, well organized, compact, with examples. If you are presenting an idea and you don't add example, your presentation or your idea is useless. Okay, so you have to add examples in order to explain it. Okay, and this is how you present. But when you will write it, or you'll type it, or you'll show your content, if your content is not in a summarized way, systematic way, do you think people will enjoy it? Of course they won't. Like here I have shared the example. My heading is in dark color, contrast with the background, and my detail of this slide is in a light color, that is less in contrast. So which one is attractive? Of course the heading. Why? Because heading is bold, heading is bright, and heading is larger as compared to details. Details are less clear and dull, and you need to focus on what is written here. So you see, not only your verbal language, but your written language and the manner in which you write or type your content is important for presentation. So in this slide, I have presented few points as well, that you have to use visual graphs or documents to make your presentation attractive. Okay, sometimes while presenting, your audience will get confused at some details, so you need to keep that detail in mind, either to resolve their confusion at the end, or just try to explain during your presentation, or wait wait and let them ask you question at the end and then explain it. And then time management is very necessary in presentation, because if your presentation is too long, people will get tired. If your presentation is too short, people won't have time to even enjoy. For example, if I start teaching you in 12:20, because it's 12:20 here, and I'll end it at 12:25, do you think I can teach you enough? Of course not. You want more explanation. So the time management is very much important, and it's overall time management and then section wise time management. For example, if you're opening, the first part of your presentation is too long, you'll have less time in explanation part, that is very much necessary, and you won't get any time for ending. So how will you manage? So try to divide time. If you allocate 5 minutes for opening, maximum 8 minutes for explanation, 3 to 4 minutes for ending, and then 10 then save some time for question and answer as well, interaction, and also few seconds or few minutes for take it as an extra minutes, because sometime people usually take time, you even can take time during presentation. So this is how you have to manage your time. Okay. Now, in order to make preparation, the first thing that you need to keep in mind is again your opening. Of course, opening is very much important, right? In opening, the first sentence, the first paragraph of your presentation must contain eye catching content, or must engage audience in the start. For example, you before opening, even you can say, you can tell your audience, if you people need to listen to me very carefully, because at the end I have a surprise for you. So when you'll use the word surprise, and at the end it will engage your audience throughout this presentation, or you can use the word that is needed at that time. For example, you can say, if you want to pass an exam with less preparation, of course the less preparation is very much attractive. Once I read a sentence, pass your MA with first division in 3 days. So the 3 days is very attractive. Why? When you can pass your masters in 3 days, in 3 days preparation, of course, why do you need to tire yourself throughout the year? So these things are eye catching, even though then at the end they take double effort, and it takes a lot of anxiety as well, because you, of course, you can't cover it in 3 days. But people use this strategy to engage audience, and to get maximum products, or to get whatever they desire for. So the opening is very much important, and then gradually move to explanation, add examples or build arguments, and then try to resolve the questions that you have been asking in your presentation. And then at the end, before end, take 2 to 3 minutes to summarize the topic, and then do end. And then be active and be energetic. Don't be so serious, and don't be too funny. You, throughout your presentation, you need to maintain the balance. You need to show a moderate behavior. Sometimes you can add surprising element, like you can be serious. Sometimes you can also be humorous. You can also add some funny questions or some funny points, and you need to be enthusiastic, so that your audience will listen to you. So this is how you can use logical sequence, you can use summaries or charts or AV aids. It's your choice, whatever you do. The middle section is your explanation paragraphs, and then ending. At the end, you need to, as I mentioned earlier, you need to summarize whatever you have presented, and then say the words conclusion. I mean, you have to add few words like so. At the end, you can say conclusively, you can say let's end it here. You can, whatever you do, yeah, like you can say, to put the whole discussion in nutshell, and to me the topic is, and so on. So ending is very important in your presentation part. For example, if I end my lecture here without telling you anything about anything else, I mean, I just stop here and then upload the lecture, and when you listen this lecture and you watch the video, you will certainly have a lot of questions. Madam, what happened next? But is the ending? How to make presentation effective? These are only 2 points: planning and preparation. What about the other points? So there are a lot of questions come into your mind and you want me to answer them. That's why ending and then question answer session is very much important. So save time for both of them. Here is the visual aids or the format that you have to use for your presentation if you are using soft skills. I mean, if you are presenting your topic through PowerPoint, you need to keep these things clearly. Or if you are presenting through charts or flow charts or handouts or any other device, I mean, that is AV aid that present or visual aids. So keep the few points in mind, that it should be the color scheme should be very much clear, bright or contrast, or you can keep it simple as well. And then you need to use the font size. It should be the font size should be readable. Okay, see, I have written a word color here, and underneath the color there is a sub point: gray on white, black on white. Which one is very much clear? Of course, black on white. Why? Because this black on white is contrast to the background, and gray on white, it is light, and you need to focus unless I just make it in large. Now it is clear to you. So the thing that you need to keep in mind when you are preparing slides, you can officially use these colors. I mean, if it is a black background, right, use font color white, or if it is gray background, you can use font color white as well. So maybe you can use black, it's up to you, but use only for these four colors. And then please keep grammar in mind when you are writing something. Focus on grammar. Now in nowadays there are a lot of sites where you can check your grammar. Now you are very much familiar of using G Suites, Gmails, Google Drives, right? Go to Google Drive, open new Google doc, right, docs, and write there whatever you have to compose there. And then on your top there is an option to check grammar and spelling. Click it. It will not only correct your grammar but also gives you suggestions how to improve it. So being a teacher and being a student, kindly focus on grammar, because you are going to teach or you are going to present something, and if you are making mistakes in especially of grammar, it is very bad impact. So if you use any language, kindly use it correctly. So this is very much important. Font size, you can use, there are three types of font size that you can use: small, medium and large. I have selected size according to their name that I named it. Small, for official font size you have to use Times New Roman with 12 font size. The size is 12, okay, and for heading it is 14, and for topic it is large, that can be 28 or 16. It depends if you are asked to choose. Then go on. Okay, so while practice, now you are done with your preparation, now you are done with your planning, everything. Now it's time to practice your material and then present. So before presenting, of course, you have to do practice. In practice, there are a lot of ways you can do practice. I mean, you can stand in front of mirror, you can present it to your fellows, you can present it to your friends, you can present in front of your siblings. Where if you can present alone, sitting in a room, speaking loudly, because when you are speaking loudly you are listening as well, and it is again, I believe it is a sense, it's a sixth or a seventh sense in human beings. We detect if something is wrong, if we are listening something incorrect. So focus on listening skills as well and do practice. So when okay, no, what to keep in mind while doing practice: keep maintain eye contact. Now you will have a question, madam, if we'll make eye contact, our teacher will get they'll get angry, they'll ask, don't look into my eyes. So these are the bad notions, or these are the what you can say, you are being stubborn, you can say. I mean, because in our culture we don't accept and we don't allow people to look into our eyes and speak. What we call, once I looked into eye of my teacher and I answered her, and she said, you are very stubborn in, actually she said, तुम बहुत बदतमीज हो. So these are the words that you usually hear when you are doing a good thing. So it is not a stubbornness or not ill mannered attitude to look into eye, because politely looking into someone's eyes is good. But yes, if you are angry and you are continuously looking into the eye of your parent, and your parent are saying don't look into my eye, and you are so much stubborn is ढीठ, यानी आप इतने ढीठ हैं कि आप उनकी आंखों में आंखें डाल के उनको जवाब दे रहे हैं. So this is not good thing. So but in presentation skill it comes, it counts as a confidence, because when you are looking into the eye of your audience and answering them, it means yes, you are confident enough. But if you won't maintain eye contact with them and you avoid them, it will show that you are lacking in confidence. So please make these things. And then speak naturally, don't speak too fast, don't speak too slowly, don't speak too loud, okay, and don't be too soft. So you see, throughout my lecture I am teaching you not to go to either extremes, neither loud nor soft, simple, plain, simple, or mix. Where you need to stress on a point, stress it. So it will give you a natural way of talking. I mean, you have to do it in your presentation as well. Don't use colloquial words. Jargons are the colloquial words that we usually use. For example, nowadays what the word OMG is very commonly used in social media. That is, oh my god. Even I am not much familiar about these jargons, but you don't use these abbreviation or jargons in your language. Once I conducted a session, even once in few weeks earlier, I conducted a session about cultural exchange, where I invited friends from different countries, and my student presented Saraiki culture, in which he said. He said that Pakistani, in Saraiki women, they wear dupatta. Now, my friends from Turkey and Azerbaijan and different countries, even not from Asia, clearly Asia, I mean Pakistan, Nepal, or where people are very much familiar with dupattas. So they were not familiar with dupattas. So they were worried, and then I explained dupatta is a stroller that you use around to cover your head, and then so on. I have to explain it. So the purpose of telling you is, don't use such words that you know your audience is not familiar with. So try not to use these words. And then know your audience. Use a strong body language. Don't shake your legs, or don't move too much in class. Walk in a class, or walk in a place where you are presenting, because don't be a static. Move as well, but don't move much. Okay, and try to engage your audience by asking question, by introducing activities that I used to do in your class, so that you feel good. And then handle the question softly, politely. If someone teases you by asking the question that you believe the question is irrelevant, you can ask them, okay, this is a very good question, but keep this question separate, we will have discuss after this class. This is, you can't just go over the person or hit him, or just refuse to answer, or don't do anything impolite. So politely handle the person. And then facial expression. You can smile. Don't show your anxiety. Don't tell everyone that you are nervous inside, or you are very much afraid. Okay, so keep these things in your mind. And don't preoccupy yourself with this rubbish, I will say, the thoughts that I can do it, or I must remember the points, or if I won't make it, I'll die, or whatever the things, or the anxiety, or the questions that are in your mind. Just throw them away and start presenting. Just tell yourself that you can do it. Have much confidence in yourself and do it. Okay. And then the last stage, that try to make connection with your audience. Okay, and try to cover your fear. I know you can't eliminate it, because it is good, I believe it is good to be to have that fear, because then you'll be confident, not overconfident, because when you are overconfident, then you'll make mistakes. So something you must have in yourself. So this is how the presentation skill you can learn and present effectively in your class. I have also attached the material with this PowerPoint in your classroom. I am posting there in few seconds, and listen to this audio. I am also uploading it on my YouTube channel that I created for all of you. You can get link from there. You can do it offline download, and then watch it whenever you'll have a time. So that's all for today and tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. Actually, this is for 3 days, and then on coming Thursday I'll take a quiz, online quiz, where you all have to answer me clearly. So if you have any question, you can ask me anytime. Or that's all. Take care, and Khuda Hafiz.